Hey, what's going on, guys? So, the MS General line is back with a new kit. If you remember, the Guan Yu kit the last time was the Mecha Musume girl with the massive dragon equipment and everything. This time, it's got a little bit different theme here with the Huang Zhong. I'm guessing that's probably not pronounced correctly, but she's got this like big sort of like mecha eagle thing going on and this sort of like sniper look and everything. Looks very cool, and I love the color scheme as well. Let's go ahead and check her out. So on the front of the box art here, we've got this really cool illustration where the character illustration is in this gloss, and then all the background and the mecha illustration is all in this matte finish. So again, really cool box art design here. And you also have this little kind of owl mech as well, which kind of goes along. So she's got her bird friends to go along. Then on here, this little bit says, Huang Zhong, experienced veterans, known as meteorites of the old age. Most of the equipment used was old-fashioned, and the lost right leg was replaced by a mechanical prosthesis. Yeah, okay, I didn't even notice that about the design. Strong personality, used to guns, good at sniping from a distance. The contract beast is a bird. As an observer, he can also provide weapon, airdrop, and firepower support. Just taking a look around on the sides of the box, you just got some cool line art there in the background of the eagle mech. On the other end, we've got the character illustration there, once again in high gloss. On top of the box there, you can see what the kit is going to look like with some different weaponry and that little owl bot there. You can see you're riding on top of the eagle and the eagle mech just on its own there. Over here you got this very official looking holographic sticker on there. Well, on the other side, another look at the character kit herself and some weapons. It looks like she's got this sort of like weapons box, sort of similar to like a 8th MS team style backpack box there with the weapons parts. You can change those around or use that as a support with the rifle, it looks like. So very cool. As you guys can see, just like with the Guan Yu kit, this one is a pretty big size box. You've got a lot of stuff in here, including the base, instruction manual, some instructions for the base. There is the cape part, which does also look pretty nice. We'll see how that looks. We've got some waterside decals and a whole bunch of parts. So let's go ahead and see if there's anything else in here. If not, I think we can just go ahead and check out the instructions here first. So instructions for the base, basically pretty simple. You got the parts list on one side and then how to put that together on the other side to create this cool base. On the instruction manual, we've got a nice full version of the artwork from the front of the box. On the back side, just the MS General logo, some QR codes down there. On the front inside page here, we've got some cool comic. It's all in Chinese, but there's some cool comic artwork there for you guys. And here a role profile image of the character in a more kind of traditional dress there. It looks pretty cool. We got armed form, armed display, detail, so just a bunch of sample images here of the kit, front and back, detail of the weapons and everything. Next page is going to be our parts list, and then after that it's just getting on into the construction. So skipping ahead through most of that, and it'll tell you all about the bird mech and transforming stuff and utilizing weapons and all that good stuff. If we skip all the way to the very back, we've got our decal guide where all the decals are going to be placed on the kit. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. Although you're not really going to be able to see these very well as they're mostly in white. So you got a couple little yellow ones, a couple of gray ones, and then down here you got our eye decals. But yeah, they're not going to be very easy for you guys to see with them being like barely off-white in color, but I mean, they do look pretty good. For some extra little bits and stuff in here, you've got this one metallic piece, which looking at the manual at first, I was expecting maybe this is like an alternative piece that you can use for like the end of the barrel on there, but I'm not sure about that, so I'm not sure at the moment quite where this fits. Then we've got the cloth part, which looks pretty nice. Cloth on kits, kind of hard to get it to look right. This one has a wire going through the edge so you can kind of shape and bend the display of that. You got a little bit of Velcro up here at the top for kind of connecting this around her neck, basically is how that's going to work. So again, more often than not, I think this kind of stuff doesn't really look very good, but it looks alright, so we'll see how it looks on the kit. Here are those face options. The pre-printing on those does look nice, so you've got the printed version and then blank versions as well for if you want to use the waterside decals or paint on your own face or whatever. These are also a little bit larger, which reminds me of the fact that these kits are like closer to Frame Arms Girls, where they're about 1/10 scale, where like the Attack Girls line is more similar to Megami Device, which are 1/12 scale around there, if I remember correctly. We do also have a small sheet of foil stickers here, which looks like basically for like cameras, and I'm guessing these are like for the eyes on the little owl dude or something. Then we've got the base and the parts for that. The arm pieces here are just kind of loose, and then you've got this small runner of pieces, and it's like black, but not quite like pure black. It's like a little bit slightly brownish, metallic-ish sort of in the color. Pretty interesting, but you can see it's got some major like swirls in there, something if that bothers you. But just design-wise, I think it does look pretty cool. Then we've got a runner of hand parts. It was actually runner V, but I'm just gonna show you guys this one first. You can see it's got like some glove detail molded there on the hands. These look pretty cool. Got holding hands, as we saw on there, closed fist. These, I'm not sure what those like pad bits are supposed to be. Then maybe these are pads that are gonna like go on the feet of the bird or something, possibly. We'll see, I'll let you guys know. There's open hands and closed fists on there as well. So the detail and the size on these look really nice. So the first handful of runners are all going to be some mechanical parts in this kind of nice medium gray color. It almost has like a little bit of like an olive kind of tone to it. It looks really quite nice. Here is runner B with some more of that on there and some really nice detail on some of these parts there. Here's runner C, and you can see my runner is a little bit warped there, but I'm guessing the parts are gonna be mostly fine, I would assume. And some more of that here on runner D as well. Now these are all in the same color, but on like some of the parts you can really tell that kind of like metallic shine of this color. You can see it definitely a lot more on certain parts than others, but that does look pretty nice. And the same kind of parts here are continued onto runner E. As you can see, lots of really nice detail on there as well. Here's runner F, some more great detail on those parts. Here is runner G and some larger parts on there. This looks like kind of mostly a lot of the mechanical parts and stuff used for the bird and some other kind of bits here. Here's runner H with some more of that. Again, some really nice detail there. Runner I then switches it up to this really nice warm tan color here. Got some nice parts on there, and runner J, again some really nice detail on these parts, some larger parts there. Then runner K, some more parts in that same color, and runner I, some more of those parts with some really large ones in there. So I think like that weapons box is going to be much larger than I expected actually. Runner M is then a runner of some clear yellow parts, which looks really nice. And then runner N switches it back to that tan color for some more kind of armor bits there. Now for runner O, this is our skin tone runner, and here's where it starts to get a little bit interesting. We've got two of this O runner, but as you can see, this one is multi-injected, so we've got two colors on there. So we've got some of this, that metallic gray color, and then some skin tone color on here. And if I remember correctly, I believe with this kit you have all the parts to make two bodies with this kit, so you can make like an unarmored body and an armored body at once, I believe, but we'll find out here in a moment. So here's some more evidence here on the next runner, runner P. We've got all our hair parts and polycap parts. They're basically kind of molded together on the same runner. We got two of this P runner. The hair is in brown, and it's honestly not like the nicest color of brown for the hair. It almost looks like somewhat translucent. It's not like the nicest color, I think. But then on runner Q, once again, we've got two different colors on this runner, light gray and a kind of medium gray there. And it's the same thing for runner R. And the reason why these multi-injected runners are interesting is because this is basically something you only ever see from Bandai. It's a kind of molding technology that Bandai, I thought, like has like the patent to. So just the fact that they're doing this multicolor injection printing, I'm not sure about that, but anyway, it's interesting. Runner S is then some more parts in that warm tan color. We got a few more of those here on runner T. And then last but not least, runner U, we've got two of these as well. And once again, it's a multi-injected runner here with some more clear yellow, which looks great. And then some nice kind of molded silver gray color over there, which also looks nice. So there you have it, guys. Very interesting indeed. A lot of parts in there and some really nice colors. So even just straight out the box, I think this kit is going to be looking pretty cool. Let me go ahead and get it put together and we'll see how she looks. Alright guys, so here she is all built up in the most basic form here, obviously, or the most simple form that you can make her as. We'll after this get into the more armored form and then the whole Mecha Eagle thing and all that good stuff. But I gotta say, I mean, basically, if you have built the Guan Yu kit or you saw my review of that kit, basically, I mean, this feels very similar to that in terms of just the overall construction, the design of everything, the quality of the plastic. The quality all is pretty good. The fit is all pretty nice. I'm not really noticing any loose parts or anything on the kit at this point. Everything feels nice and tight. The design is pretty cool, as you guys will see as we're getting through other different versions of this and everything. But in order to transform her into the armored form, you just have to build it. Because you do in fact have all the parts to be able to make both forms at the same time. All you would have to do is basically, just switch the face options if you want to switch those out. But you have two figures in one. So basically, with this kit, you've got the two of those, and then you've got your big giant Mecha Eagle. So you basically have like three kits in one here, sort of. Just on a note about the articulation, all the articulation on this is all just pretty standard. Like I said before, it all feels very tight, very solid, so you're not going to have any issues with anything being loose. The boots are a little weird, I gotta say, for like the whole aesthetic of the body being so scantily clad, very thinly armored. And then you have the weird boots. I don't know, it's kind of interesting. But those rubber pieces that we had on there, those little rubber squares, those go in the bottoms of the feet, and it's the same thing here with the bottoms of the feet here on this version as well. Not really sure how much those are really gonna do, what is really necessarily the point of those being rubber, because they kind of just barely stick out the bottom of there. So I don't know, they're not exactly rubber, I guess, too, just like a softer plastic, but it just kind of seems an interesting idea, but kind of pointless. As for the armored body, it is pretty cool. I do like the asymmetry of this. There are a couple issues that I do have with it. This section here is not really connected onto anything, so it's just kind of free floating here. This section here around the waist, and also this part here on that kind of wraps around the stomach section, this part just tends to fall off really easily, that part there on the front. So I would just recommend you guys to glue that in place so that doesn't fall off. Also around here on the back inside this bit, this is where the knife is supposed to be stored, and the knife is pretty cool, having that clear yellow effect for that. This is just supposed to store right in the top of here. And right now it's kind of held on because it's being held down by this backpack part, but if that's not there, there's basically nothing really holding this in place, and it just kind of falls out really easily. So see, if the backpack is not holding it on there, it just falls out right away, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Here on the side of the leg, you have this kind of like a pistol attachment. That's cool. That stays in there pretty well. It's just basically held in by friction. It's not actually really plugged onto anything, so that just works in there like that. It's just a single piece. If you didn't want to have that on there, you have an alternate piece here which doesn't have this holder piece there, holster I guess, for that. And the asymmetry of the legs here is also pretty cool. The whole mecha leg is pretty interesting, and the nice yellow pieces on that. The clear yellow parts on this design do look pretty nice. Her main weapon, of course, here is going to be this rifle, which is pretty cool. You got this attachment up here on the top for the cameras, and the front end, which has the clear parts in there, which can be swapped out. So basically you just kind of remove this off of there, swap that for this longer sniper rifle barrel, and then also the camera equipment on the top, you swap that out for this different camera kind of scope there on the top like that. So you got some cool options with that, and this is pretty long now at this version. This can then be plugged up onto this hook here on the back of her suit. And with this one too, it's not really the strongest connection on that, so just be a little bit careful. It's cool that it can attach up onto there for storage when like not in use, but it is kind of a little bit loose on there. Now on this side obviously goes our little AI detector owl, which is just kind of here on this storage unit for that, which almost looks like this is supposed to be like a handheld thing as well, but it's just supposed to be like its little docking bay sort of thing, I guess. So we'll see this again here in a minute. Very tight on there, but you can take this off and then put this onto a little action stand or something to have it flying on its own. You have a little bit of movement here with like the kind of wing bits there of that move up and down. Now this can be plugged up onto the top of there like that, but your other option would be to plug this onto the top of our weapons box here. So here's the box, and you can remove this cap here on the top, although it's a little bit tricky to do so. There you go, you can remove that and have this guy up on top of there. And then there is one more option for that, we'll come back to that here in a little bit. Here on the side, this can be removed, and we're going to use this for another weapon option here in just a bit. So we'll take this off, put it to the side for now, but for this box, you got some nice detail all around on this. These sections here slide independently, those slide, and then that will also unlock these. So when these open up, when you have those closed up, slide this up and that locks them in place. Those fold down like that. This backside also opens up like that. You can also just open up this little section here like that as a little doggy door or something, I guess. And basically your different sections of the rifle. So if you break the rifle down all into its different parts, very like 8th MS Team style, then you can store all the parts in here in this box, which is very cool. This otherwise, when not in use, doesn't like plug onto her, I guess like similar to 8th MS Team. It doesn't plug onto her back or anything, so you just kind of have this as its just own separate thing. But it is a very cool and very large, hefty accessory here for this. And on another quick note, we have an alternate chest piece here included. You can use it for either version, but obviously for the armored version, you kind of need to have that armored chest piece. So this is basically just for if you have the unarmored body, you have that alternate chest piece there. And then we have the base, which is pretty interesting, works pretty well. They can move this up and then slide this forward on the track there like that, and you have a few like different locking mechanisms. Basically works very similar to a Bandai action base that moves up and down. You can lock that in place. Another lock here on the top that will extend that out like that, and then this lock here, which will allow you to change the angle of that connection up and down. And you have 3 different attachment pieces here for this, but this is not going to be compatible with anything like Gundam. Unfortunately, it's not going to be compatible with like your Gundam action base. You're not going to be able to put a Gundam kit on this without making some sort of custom adapter piece up here at the top, just because the way that this plugs in is just different from that, unfortunately. So last but certainly not least is our Mecha Eagle. So you got a bunch of parts articulated on this. Obviously the head is articulated like that, and you can kind of fold this down. There's another like form that you can make with this, which is like a transformed, like inactive form or something like that. I guess it's not really all that interesting, so I'm not really gonna bother with that, but you can move these parts out here in the front. You got some cool clear yellow there. Obviously you got a bunch of articulation here in the legs, those move. You got points for articulation there, you can move those. You can move the claws on the feet, you can move that all around. And obviously the wings, you got these sections will move independently. This smaller section there just moves up and down like that. This larger section, you can rotate that and rotate this all around and bend this whole section in and out like that, rotate it like that. So you can have the wings all the way opened up like that. Looks very cool. The tail does also move up and down a little bit. Now you have this piece which goes in here on the top, which just doesn't plug onto anything. It sticks in there like that, and it's meant to be like that, but it just falls out. It's not really like attached onto anything. So I don't know if this is meant to be for something else or what, but you do also have this attachment piece, and once you have this plugged onto there, that does kind of help that to stay in place. It doesn't fall out quite as easily. But this is, I guess, is just supposed to be just more missiles or something for the back of that, is what it kind of seems like to me. And remember our little docking doohickey here for the AI detector. This can plug onto here as well, so that just plugs onto it like that. And then they can fly together like so, which is very cool. So this is a really interesting accessory, and like I said, it's basically like building a whole second kit, because you can't like combine this with like the girl. It's just like its own separate thing. So it's a really interesting, I guess, like accessory, but it's not even really an accessory. It's sort of like a just second kit in the box. And lastly, just to come back to this one here, what you can do with this is turn this around. You turn this into a bow weapon by removing these parts off of the wings of the bird and put these onto here, and this makes a sort of energy bow type weapon that can just be held in the hand like that. So obviously left or the right side, whatever, it doesn't matter. So that is another weapon that you can make with this. So once again, this is a model that's just going to have way too many options that I can't show you everything in this video, but you guys can get the idea based on a few different poses and things that I'll show you here for now. The cloth kind of cape accessory, it's fine. It's not like really that great. I don't know, it's not bad. I wouldn't necessarily see myself using it. I think it's just because of like the wire in there for posing it, and the tattered ends of it do look convincing enough. It's just like where it attaches around her neck, it just looks a little bit kind of strange. Anyway, it's a cool accessory amongst a lot of accessories that you have for this kit. So there's just a lot that you have in the box, so many different things that you can do with this. This is a really fantastic kit, and I think you're really getting a lot for your money with this one. And with how solid everything is in the kit, it's one that you can like kind of play around with, you know, changing the pose, because it's going to take you a while to maybe figure out exactly how you want to display it. With so many different options, you're going to have to try out a lot of things to see like how you want to end up displaying this on your shelf, or what you want to end up doing with this. And so everything's all good, solid. I don't really foresee having any troubles if you are planning on moving this around quite a bit, so that's nice. And just for anyone who's wondering about the size of this kit, the MS General kits, this one and the previous Guan Yu kit, are a little bit larger. They're more similar to Kotobukiya's Frame Arms Girl kits, so these and the Frame Arms Girl kits are a little bit larger. They're more like 1/10 scale, where like Megami Device, Attack Girl kits, and Nuke Matrix kits, those are all a little bit smaller, a little bit closer to 1/12 scale. So they're not just in terms of compatibility, if you want to use parts from one with another, just keep that in mind that this one is going to be a little bit larger, a little bit taller. But anyway, guys, I gotta say, another pretty impressive kit here from MS General. Just a ton of stuff in the box, so they really kind of go all out to really pack this with a lot of value. So I think that's really nice. And if you guys want to check out the kits, of course, you can check them out at USA Gundam Store. Any of the Mecha Musume kits, Kotobukiya, MS General, Attack Girls, we got all those there for you guys. So check those out. And of course, Gundam and all that kind of other good stuff as well too. So the link and the coupon code to USA Gundam Store will be down in the video description for you guys to use. Thank you so much for your support there. And thank you so much for supporting the video, liking, commenting, subscribing. That is all greatly appreciated. Until next time, guys, hope you're all having a great day. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.